Now, it's difficult to know where to take this because, of course, there is a third really important Christological claim in John's Gospel, which is in chapter 8. Of course, famously, in chapter 8, Jesus is talking about eternal life, and his Jewish opponents say to him and say, well, our father Abraham, he died. Are you saying you're greater than him? And Jesus replies, if I glorify myself, my glory means nothing. Your father Abraham rejoiced at the thought of seeing my day, and he was glad. And they say, what, you're not even 50 years old, and Abraham has seen you? And he says, truly I tell you, before Abraham was, I am. Why is that important? Two reasons. Firstly, he seems to claim pre-existence to Abraham, which is pretty significant, but also this invocation of the word I am, in Greek, ego eimi, which many people think is a callback to the divine name of God given to Moses. In Exodus chapter 3, Moses asks God, who shall I tell them has sent me? And God says, Eesha, Asher, Eesha, which means I am that I am who I am. So go and tell them that I am has sent you. If you read the Septuagint that the New Testament writers were using, how is this verse rendered? Exodus chapter 3. God says to Moses, ego eimi ho on, which means something like I am the one who is. So go and tell them, ho on has sent you. In other words, in the Greek version, ego eimi is just as it is typically used in Greek, a way of saying I am, and it's used commonly like this. In John chapter 9, in other words, the abbreviation of the divine name is not ego eimi, it's ho on. And it's ego eimi that Jesus says.
Alex brings up the Septuagint responding to John. I didn't rely on the passages he's responding to, but if you want to go to the Septuagint in terms of interpreting the claims of the New Testament, let's go to Luke 6:46. If you want to talk about the Septuagint, there's only one other place outside the Gospels where they use this Lord, Lord. That's the Septuagint, and it's a translation of Adonai Yahweh, God. So that's the Lord Yahweh. But in Greek, they would translate Adonai and Yahweh as Kurios. So it's Kurios, Kurios in the Septuagint. And here Jesus says, why do you call me Lord and not do what I say? And so if you want to interpret Jesus based on the Septuagint claiming to be Yahweh, here you go. There it is. And it's in the Gospel of Luke.